Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief,
Yeah,
Jerry Doby. And this evening, I have one of my great friends, Mr.
indeed,
Woodrow.
indeed.
He is,
Yes,
man,
sir.
it goes deeper than the industry. Thank you for your
Indeed,
service. Thank you for your
indeed,
service. Is a fellow gun bunny in the Army.
indeed.
We met over a bowl of Cheerios on some online stuff. I introduced myself. We did a event in Memphis. My man brought
Yep,
his whole team out and supported the Hype Magazine launch party in Memphis. It was a great
indeed.
time. It was the first time I'd ever seen a bottle of Bel Air in real life. This brother was holding it in front of the step and repeat. You know what I mean? I was like, what the hell is that? A black bottle? Oh, yeah, okay. He was
Yeah, that's
first
no
time I ever
black
saw a
bottle.
black bottle boy, for real, for real. Then,
Yes, sir.
as I transition, brothers and sisters, this man showed me what kind of friend he really was. Like, I came to Memphis, he brought me out to the spot. I needed a haircut. He brought me a barber in. You know, I needed to see a horticulturist, and the horticulturist brought the greenhouse.
Yes, sir.
All of my basic needs. Then we go to Atlanta. The brother's got his first condominium out there. I couch surfed in his house for about a month.
Hey.
You know what I mean? When we talking about relationships, this brother
Indeed.
has, stood boots laced up to the tip top for me as I
Indeed.
came through, opened doors in Atlanta, brought me to the clubs, introduced me to the people. Even though that one lady at that one club, she didn't like me because I would go outside and smoke. She wanted to drive on the brother, but it's okay. It's okay. But
But you know.
I had a good time. The brother always made
Indeed.
sure I was
Indeed.
looked out for. Took me to the Two
Yes, sir.
Sisters restaurant, got me some soul food,
Oh
introduced me to
yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
hottest spots. You know what I mean? So, this is me saying I love you, bro, and I appreciate you. And I stand behind you, stand beside you, shoulder to shoulder in this battle. As you navigate the maze we call the entertainment industry. The
Man.
man,
Thank you so much for that, bro. Thank you. Thank you for that intro, man. Shout out the Hype Magazine. Shout out my big brother, Jerry Doby. My battle. I mean, in this war of an industry, it is great to have a partner, someone, I mean, really by your side in this, man. And you have always been there when I was figuring it out when I was figuring it out, you were a library for me. You gave me that information. You gave me that platform. As we are here now. And man, it's speechless. I can't even come up with the words, of gratitude for what you and the brand has done for me. Shout out Jay. It's I like I said, words can't explain it, and the proof is in the results. And I really appreciate everything, like for real, man. Hey,
I,
man,
I
y'all
appreciate
are.
you.
Hype magazine is definitely a part of my ascension in this entertainment industry, and anyone who plans to head in that same direction, I advise you to pay attention and use this platform as well.
I
For real.
appreciate it. Thank you. What's up, Saul? Saul,
So
Saul weighing in there. What's up, player? I see you,
yeah,
nephew.
what's up, man?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Congratulations,
got baby boy in
congratulations.
here, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, baby boy said, he wanted to make his grand entrance today. So hey, man, what can
Hey,
I do? This is the boss right here, man.
what
I'm
they
just
say? It's a family affair. Don't make me sing up in this piece. Don't make me sing up in this piece. You
you
know what I
better
mean?
know it.
Yeah.
You better.
So, I had to give you your flowers, man, because I really appreciate people talk about day ones. Look, this is literally somebody that I met basically over a bowl of Cheerios. And here we are more than a decade later.
Talking about MySpace days, man. We talk about,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my, Reverb Nation. Like we talking about
yeah, yeah.
way, way back.
Yeah,
CD, era,
2012. I was just retired from the military, 2013.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, it was a beautiful thing. And to be able to share a moment with my brother as we're both, having some benchmark achievements.
Yes,
Look,
sir.
look, he just got his first Billboard plaque with
Yep.
Big Boogie for definition of a big dude. You feel me?
Yep.
He's rocking with NBA Youngboy. He's the one who introduced me to Moneybagg Yo and what he had going on. You know what I
Right.
mean? The umbrella firm is the imprint. Goat Mode Productions is also his production company. He's an amazing person. So look, besides the military, besides your recent accolades, from the inside looking out, talk to us about Woodrow, from artists, from the streets to the suites, pretty much literally.
Yeah. From the streets to the suites. Oh my God, I like that one, bro. I gotta use that one. I'm gonna put that one in my bag.
Okay.
For real. But man, that is a very good, a great description of what actually happened. And you of course you know that. I mean, I was just a kid who really had a vision bigger than my environment. I come from the hood, like a lot of our peers. And I'm from the deep south. I'm from the Mississippi Delta, right outside of Memphis. So, even with that, I had to find my way when it came to Memphis. So as an artist, as a creative, that came from really having nothing. Not have like we didn't have a rec center, that we could go to, and they have all the activities laid out. You can do this, you can do that.
Right.
If you had a good ball, you can go to the court, but everybody can't hoop. You know what I'm saying? I played football, but that's only a certain season. So outside of that, man, I grew up real fast. Where I was from, man. Well, where I'm from, man, we were idle time. What does it say in the good book? Idle time is
Idle hands are the devil's workshop.
the devil's workshop. You did, and man, we did a lot, and and that was the thing. Like with learning all those lessons and living so fast in my region, I realized there was no one documenting it. Like NWA, was basically our reporters, was the hood reporters, letting us know what was going on in the community. Before that, all we knew about was the East Coast. All we knew about was what was going on in the Bronx and Brooklyn, shout out KRS-One and so on and so forth.
Right.
Because New York had it. But people, pioneers like Jay Prince, shout out Scarface, Ghetto Boys, they were telling our story. And I could relate to that a lot more. So, I'm really a hood baby. I'm really from that. So, when it comes like my dad, I was really this size right here, riding in the Monte Carlo with him and his friends, and my dad had me in high school. So in my era, it was different because most of my peers were listening to, the OJs and
Isley Brothers,
Isley Brothers and, Marvin Gaye and that type of stuff because their mothers were older. Well, their parents were older.
right.
My parents were teens. So my parents were playing Tupac and DMX and what Crisscross, the Brat. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
this is the stuff Heavy D, you know what I'm saying? Like this is MC Hammer. Like I remember like in the living room, like doing the MC Hammer, like, this is and now thinking back, you know, that right there, you know, always kept me ahead of the game. To whereas, as I said, my friends, you know, they weren't in tune with that yet.
Right.
So, you know, with having that culture and being raised that way, you know, it's just like Minister Society, man. If you watch Minister Society, and what was his name? Furious,
I think it was
Styles.
Furious. Furious, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it was, you know, he was a young father and he was trying to, you know, navigate his son through, you know, that maze. And it was basically, it mirrored that a lot. And I learned a lot. And I decided that, hey, there is no representative where I'm from telling this story.
Right.
You know, I hear all that. Like I hear Master P, I hear Cash Money, I hear these big entities, and I hear them telling their story. And I'm like, man, ain't nobody telling our story. So, you know, I'd never said I was the best rapper. I'm nice, but I did always see I had a vision bigger than my environment. So, you know, when I went overseas, well, I started rapping in school, middle school. And we were doing regular talent shows, and like I said, I'm a hood kid, so my Christmas wasn't the best always,
Right.
but tax time in the hood, tax time was it. You know what I'm
Balling
saying?
season. Balling season.
Right. So the beautiful part for me is my birthday is around tax season. So my birthday is in February. I'm an Aquarius.
Okay.
So you know, I may not get anything all year, but my birthday parties were some of the biggest in the hood. So we were 13, 14, 15 years old, and we were literally renting out the facility building in the neighborhood. And we were doing our own shows. And we would go and get the spray painted t-shirts with our names on them, our group,
Yeah.
you know, get as fly as we possibly can, you know, and we actually were putting on shows. And this was in middle school going into high school. So long live my brother Travis. And yeah, like going into high school, it all carried on, and you know, I always was popular. I just never knew the actual value of that popularity.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, now you see a lot of the social media influencers, they're basically using their local popularity and building upon that. But this is before social media, so you know, what do I know? I didn't know it as a kid. So I you know, fast forward, I went to the military, of course. I was actually recording as I was overseas. Um, uh, you know, God spared me, thank God. I went to Afghanistan, Bagram, Afghanistan, and fought in the Afghani wars. And God spared me, and I made it home. Thank you, Lord. I kissed the ground when I made it, and you know, been working ever since. But when I made it back, Jeezy was very big. It was the Jeezy era. So Jeezy and Gucci era. And I had already been hot on tip. But something about Jeezy, because I had always been a hustler. I had
Right.
always been a hustler. Like my folks didn't have it like that. As I said, they were teenagers when they had me. So you know, I had legal hustles. So from taking out trash to picking up pecans, picking up cans, raking yards, cutting yards. Like, you know, these were my hustles. I did
Right.
other stuff too, but that was the meat of it. So I had always been self-sufficient. So when I came back home, you know, I'm still on my hustle. And I'm listening to Jeezy. And I had never heard an artist from the South put so much emphasis and emotion and feeling in his records, like in his vocals. Like I could literally feel Jeezy. Like
Ooh.
if it was a heartfelt record, I could feel it. You know, if it was a joyful celebration type record, I could feel it. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out why. So as I'm listening to his records, I'm familiar with Patchworks in Atlanta.
Right.
You know, the biggest in the industry. And I knew he was recording there. And as I said, like, I started in this independent, so I was recording with my friend who is my producer, and he's self-taught as an engineer, and we have the studio set up in the closet, and you know, we're rapping, so on and so forth. And you know, that was the standard for me. But as I'm listening to Young Jeezy, I'm like, yo, it's clear. Like you can hear it clear. He's not even yelling. Because I remember, you know, and this is no pun intended. I remember listening to Pastor Troy, Lil Jon, a lot of artists at the time, and it was like it was a little distorted, and they had to yell, you know. But when I'm listening to Jeezy, Jeezy is almost whispering, man. He's like, oh my, like he's not even yelling in the mic. He's just, man, he's almost whispering and he's getting his whole point across. You can hear everything clear. So I was like, look, you know, let me try a real studio. Let me see, you know what I'm saying? Let me try a real studio, see if I get a different sound now. You know, for hood guys, when, you know, it's time to pay for professionals, you know, hood guys like, oh my God, kind of skeptical. So, you know, like, you know, so it's like, oh man, $100 an hour. Like, what am I getting for $100 an hour? That's how much it costs to record. And you know, me, I heard $100 an hour. I'm like, God, like, yeah, that is a little high. I'm paying my partner $20 an hour at home. So I'm like, man, all right, bet I'll do it. So then they hit me. Oh, it's $100 an hour, but it's a 4-hour minimum.
Yeah.
So I gotta pay $400. Like I gotta pay $400 for a block. Yeah, you gotta pay $400. So boom, I said, forget it. I'm gonna try. I paid the $400. That first night in the studio, with Tone Yates, one of the best engineers at the time. Long live Young Dolph. He worked with Project Pat, a lot of other. But my first night in the studio, I ran into Project Pat and Gorilla Zoe.
Heavy hit.
And that one thing taught me a valuable lesson about professional studios. You know, you're gaining more access than just paying for a song to be mixed, or paying for a song to be recorded. You know, you're actually gaining access to something much bigger. And the crazy part about that, I had literally paid for front row seats to took my girl at the time, took her to the Gorilla Zoe concert at the Civic Center down there, and I paid a lot more than $400, and I didn't meet Gorilla Zoe.
You didn't get to meet him.
Right, and I eventually got some work in with Gorilla Zoe. We actually got some music done, and but once I recorded there at that studio, that sound that I got, I was light years ahead of everyone around me.
Blown away too.
I mean, it was that, man, it hit hard. The 808s were hitting hard. The vocals are clear, like boom. So that was in turn basically tuning my ear as an A&R, and I didn't even know it. But it definitely was, because I was focusing on something that a lot of creatives weren't even worried about. They didn't care about, especially at the time. So, you know, kept doing that. I made, I understood that because Memphis didn't have the pipeline that it has right now. You know, shout out Memphis, shout out CMG, shout out Yo Gotti, the family, Big Boogie, my OG Leon Porter. You know, Memphis has built a very good network now, a great network, and it is definitely a leading city in the music industry these days. But at that time, it wasn't. The groundwork wasn't laid. So it was a lot more work to do. And I had to get creative. And I had my street situations going on in the hood. So I was dealing with a lot of hate. Whenever you're shining and you in the hood, you're gonna deal with hate. So I was like, man, how can I overcome this? And that's what helps me create singles till this day, was tailoring songs back then. Mm-hmm. So I made this song called Monte Ellis, in honor of the basketball player Monte Ellis, because he was from my region, and everybody loved Monte at the time. So I made that song. It was basically an anthem. It caught fire. It caught the attention of platforms like V Hype magazine and others. And that was when I started to see the actual fruits of my labor when it came to the music. Because before then, everything was just investing. There wasn't a lot coming back.
Right.
But I started seeing the fruits of it come back. But my only problem was every show we had to fight. It was a brawl. And it was literally because at that time in that region, you almost had to muscle your way through it.
Right.
Because it was just, people didn't respect it. At one point, being a rapper was not cool.
Was not cool.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, being a rapper is like, you're a rapper. Like, I come from the era when street dudes were street dudes. Like, street dudes didn't want to be rappers,
Right.
So it was like, you want to rap? What do you know what I'm saying? So I had to deal with that stigma. But the beautiful part about it, for me at the time, I was really about that.
Right.
So we actually muscled through it, but I had to get creative. So I watched Gucci, I watched Gotti, I watched a lot of people in that area, and one thing I saw them doing was they started booking their own shows. So I would book venues myself, and I would book bigger artists, and I would open up for them.
Right.
And I knew that I had so many haters to the point where I was like, look, do I want to be a boss, or do I want to be do I care about just the light? Do I care about being famous?
Yeah, let's talk about that defining moment.
Right. So I'm like, I'm doing this to be a boss. And I was like, okay, I took my name and face off the flyers completely. And I would put headlining act on the flyer, and boom, and I'm promoting it that way. So the first artist I booked was Jody Breeze. And this was Boys in the Hood days. Them boys in the hood sell anything for profit. Like, it was definitely a wave. They had it. And I got Jody Breeze in, and I almost tripled my profit.
Wow.
And I didn't put my face on the flyer. And, it was an aha moment. It was a eureka. It was like, oh, wow, okay. This could work. And, that's why when teaming up with teams like V Hype magazine, and when Making the Band came to Memphis, and I linked up with Day 26 and Robert Curry, that's when those pipelines opened up for me, and those doors opened up for me, because I was already coordinating events,
right,
as an artist, so that's how those things came about. And man, there were several there were several miscellaneous variables that hindered me from becoming a major recording artist.
Right.
And some life stuff. One big thing that happened was in the height of my ascension as an artist, my engineer, he was hired by Pleasure P at
Oh
the
wow.
time, and he went on the road with Pleasure P, and he had my hard drive with all my
Oh.
music.
Oh man.
And I had just signed a production agreement with Zaytoven. I had a management agreement with AG Entertainment. I had a development agreement with Slip and Slide Records.
Right.
And all this music, and they were ready to roll out. And he had the hard drive. So now, when I deal with my artists as an A&R and a manager, I tell everyone, keep your hard drive. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
keep your hard drive.
Bounce
Like
my
that's
stuff right now.
right.
Yeah.
So, that happened. I lost the deal. Um, kind of went into a void on the artist thing because you work so hard to get to that point,
Right.
and it just went left. And so after that, I just continued to focus on what works. And even shout out Jim Jones. I was doing it, and I didn't even know I was doing it. But shout out Jim Jones. He said, even when you're not motivated, stay consistent.
Right.
And I wasn't even motivated. I was in robot mode. But I had faith. I knew that this would break through. I just had to stay consistent. And I literally went through years, I felt like, in that void from just doing events, several high profile events, but it just got redundant to me.
Yeah.
I did several with Love and Hip Hop, Kirk Frost, and a few others. K Camp, when he first came out with the Money Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I was, I'm in the mix. I'm working, but I just didn't. I wasn't motivated at all, and kept going, and that's when I ran into a close friend of mine that worked with Onyx
Okay.
nightclub.
Yeah.
And right.
Yeah.
And like what I was doing. And he was like, man, can you come help me out over here? And that's why I will always give Onyx the credit, because Onyx brought that excitement back to me.
That was the spot.
Onyx, and
That's the spot that he was bringing me to every week. I was like, oh, this is butter, baby. I love it. Yeah.
Yes,
Enough said.
sir.
Go ahead. Your story.
Yes, sir. So just still working and bringing in new age acts, and I had to literally fight for the artists that I premiered at Onyx, because the people who ran it, the executives at the time, they didn't believe in that vision. They didn't see the next. They still wanted PIs and the Fabulouses and whoever was popping at that time.
Right.
But I'm telling them Moneybagg Yo is next. I'm telling them Money Man is next. I'm telling them Cap G is next. Yeah. I'm telling them Derez Deshaun is next. That's what I'm telling them. Like, long live Bankroll Fresh. I'm telling them. I'm like, hey, and they saw it. They saw it after. Shout out Mike Will. Mike Will, what Mike Will say? You do it one time, they call it luck. You do it again.
It's a trend.
Hey, ain't no such thing as two flukes, baby. I ain't never seen that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was my, actually, this was part of my introduction to the Atlanta culture as far as music. Was coming out to Onyx, watching the shows and seeing the artists that you were bringing through. And I'm going, okay, when you talked about Moneybagg Yo, I believed you. And then I saw you putting in the work, and people talk about A&R. I'm like, this brother was putting together shows. He was pulling in the producers. He was helping do the marketing, the promotional ideas, the artwork ideas, your vision, the media message. one man doing what a team of 10 would normally do for an artist.
Right.
And this brother is making it happen. And so shout out to you for the intestinal fortitude to
Thank you.
to stay the course. You know what I mean? It's a showcase right there. Brothers talking about, I can't do it. They won't let me in. Who won't let you in? You mean you don't have the balls enough to fight through, stay the course, lace them boots up, man. Stop worrying about a stick. Your stick should be your brain.
Right. That is your stick.
That's your stick.
And the books is your hammer. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Figure this industry out. Everybody want to be around running their mouth when you got 2 ears. You should be listening twice as much as you talking, especially as you're learning the game. And then also, you need to be the brokest MFer in the room every place you go.
Oh my God. And the dumbest.
And the dumbest. And be quiet.
For real, for real. And soak it all in, baby. Soak it all in.
Because people will tell you what they want you to know.
On the wall. I had to be the fly on the wall for months at a time, for years at a time. I mean, Onyx, like I said, Onyx gave me that platform to build my network. Took it to another level because Onyx was top 3 at the time in the city, and you're talking about, you know, hey, when you're asking Moneybag Yo or Money Man to come to this hole in the wall club over here, you know, in the middle of nowhere,
right?
That's kind of a hard bargain,
right?
But when you're telling Money Man and Moneybag Yo to come to Onyx, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, it makes things move a little smoother, you know. So
and they got some of the best artwork in the city.
Live artwork.
Hey.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, you know, I will always give Onyx that credit, and you know, it helped me build that network. And while I was there, you know, I attracted other business entities and people who were interested in what I had going on. And another business partner of mine came, and he was part owner in the club, another major club in Atlanta. It was called the Palace. Yeah. And the Palace wanted like a staple on the South Side. And he brought me over, and he was like, man, I like what you're doing. Can you come help us, you know, at the Palace? And I was like, yeah, you know, I can do that. And my first night, I brought out some big people. Some very big people came out, and he was like, yeah, we can do this. And what I didn't know at the time, which I saw a lot of hustle gang memorabilia in the building, but I didn't know that he was a part of Grand Hustle. I did not know that he was a part of Hustle Gang. And this turns out to be my big homie, the guy who brought me in professionally as an executive, Elliot Stroud. And Stroud was an executive producer with Grand Hustle at the time. And he had recently signed as a producer for Atlantic Records with Craig Kalman. So he saw something in me. He saw a fire in me. And he was like, look, bro, if you're not busy, come by, you know, come by in my office tomorrow, and, you know, let's see if we can talk some business. So I pulled up, and I didn't know I was going to Grand Hustle Studios, but when I pulled up, I saw Tips Van and, you know, Young Dro memorabilia, just saw like B.O.B. stuff everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. So it's Grand Hustle, you know.
That's a real deal, yeah.
Real. So I go in, and it was a more hood environment at the time.
Right.
Had a lot of street artists. Long Live Dobie. You know, Young Dro had just did Car Ain't Got No Roof. We Be in the City. You know what I'm saying? Dro had just did We Be in the City. You know, Long Live Dope Boy Raw. Raw was in the studio at the time. And also London J, before becoming the Grammy-winning songwriter that he is right now. He was in the studio as well. And it was like, man, we were like, what do they call them? The not the Avengers, the Misfits. What were they? Oh, I can't think of Will Smith, a few others from that movie. What was it called? I'm gonna think about it later.
Not the Little
But
Rascals.
no. Oh my God, what? I can't think of it. I'm gonna think of it later. I know, but we were like the band of misfits that were really diamonds in the rough.
Was that the Brat Pack?
And nah, not the Rat Pack.
Not the Rat Pack, the Brat Pack. There was a era when the youngsters were called the Brat Pack, and there were a bunch of
right. It was a movie. It had Will Smith. It had the girl that from the Joker. She just played Barbie. What's her name? Margot Robbie. It had her on there.
Okay.
Oh my, what was the name of the book? I can't think of it. But anyway, we were like a band of misfits, and all of us had our own talents, but no one knew what to do with us at the time. So, you know, it was on a few different people that were in the building to get things together. And when I came in there, Tokyo Jets had just got signed.
Okay.
She was around the studio. She didn't have a single at the time. So everyone was trying to work with T.I. and Young Dro, so on and so forth. But, you know, that room was full.
Right.
So, you know, I go in this room with Tokyo Jets and, hey, you know, it's a little room in here, maybe. It's not as full as the room with T.I. So I got a little space in here. So, you know, I sat in that room maybe months. We had a little small talk. She knew that I had producers, but I had never played any of my records or anything. And one night she came in and she literally she was like, Woodrow, you got some beats? I'm like, yeah, I got some tracks. And I'm like, how you feeling? You know, because as an A&R, I'm not one of those guys that's just gonna come in and be like, yeah, so we're gonna make a club record tonight. We gotta make a club record, you know. We need a record for the ladies. I'm not that guy. You know, I'm a mood guy. I'm an organic creator.
Okay.
So, you know, the thing about it is when I'm working with an artist, I ask that artist, how you feeling? What's going on with you? You know, because everything we do in music is about a feeling. So I asked Tokyo that. She was like, oh, I'm tired of these niggas lying to my DM and, you know, these just play so many games. These niggas be having wives and everything on the side. Like, ooh. So I'm like, bet. So that's what we finna talk about.
Okay.
So I pulled the beat up and literally the first beat, and that ended up being her biggest single to this day, which was No Problem. And that got her her distribution deal because she already had a record deal with Hustle Gang, but that got her distribution with Empire. And hey, she got Adidas sponsorships and so on and so forth. And that's the thing about it, you know, when you're dealing with the majors, you need a single. And our team provided her with a single. And I would say that was my first big one. That was my first, like, oh, you know, yeah, I did that. And been moving ever since.
It is really satisfying, you know, to be there at the beginning and believing in someone before they crack that nut. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We've had an opportunity at the Hype magazine to do some of that. You know what I mean? Catching people on the rise before they really explode. And there's
Right.
nothing like being part of that journey, but to know that you specifically pulled as the hub in the middle of this wheel with a bunch of spokes, that you pulled those together to create something so solid that this person, breaks through and now
Right.
has extra doors open. It's got to be, extremely satisfying for you. Talk to me about the feeling and the impetus that gave you to keep pushing, because you did a lot at the beginning out of that first office that
Right.
you were working out of. You
Right.
you
Right.
you pushed a lot of stuff out there. Talk to me about the
Right.
extra impetus. Saul, I'm gonna let you have that in I'm gonna give me like 15 more minutes. I promise. I'm gonna let you have it, bro. But you going down in history of this interview. That's my nephew Saul. He is the newest addition to the Woodrow family. We're not giving out government names. Just know Saul is biblical. Saul was a soldier. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's a heavy burden that he put on this young brother, but he's the man,
Hey,
the father that I believe that can teach him to carry that burden
indeed.
and make a way for him to do so. So,
Indeed.
you know what I mean?
And
Talk
his
to me.
middle name is Orion. So Orion was actually the greatest hunter. And that is actually my favorite constellation in the sky, which I
Okay.
have attached to the side. So, he's just, he's very intentional now. Baby
Saul
boy is very
Orion. Woo! Boy, that's powerful. Young
Yes,
nephew on
sir.
the move, crazy. But talk to me about the motivational factor, because there, like you said, there were low moments. I think we have, as people, we're not going to get into it, but we have exchanged conversations and informations about life, trying that bullshit and
Right.
us prevailing. Sometimes you got to sit down for a minute and wait, catch your breath. But
Right.
as long as you got work clothes on your dreams and you go to work, put your hard hat on, lace your boots up, it can happen. And Woodrow
Indeed.
living proof.
I had a few different driving forces. I was born in a hole, like a lot of us are.
Right.
Um, we don't have a solid foundation. So I always knew that I would have to do something more than a regular 9 to 5 to fill that hole and build on top of it. I knew I would have to be I would have to be greater than average. I knew that. I knew average was not going to work.
Right.
So, that was one thing. I had my son early. I had my first son in high school, and just a lot of people have said that as cliche, but knowing what the struggles of my upbringing, and now I brought another baby boy in as a teenage parent. I knew I had to do something different for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, my kids have always been that extra oomph. Like, I was told that you have to have a purpose bigger than yourself,
Right.
because if your purpose isn't bigger than you, then when you're tired or you're hurting or you're exhausted, you're going to just lay down. It's about you.
Right.
You're not thinking about anyone else. But when it's bigger than you and you're tired, oh no, my baby's got to eat.
Yeah.
And you're tired, I got to keep this roof over our head. You know what I'm saying? And you're tired, still got to. So that was always a very big determining factor as well. Another factor was, as I said, I was dealing with the hate. We all know what goes down in Memphis in that region. It's not happy about that. We glorify a lot of the wrong things these days. And it's crazy that a lot of that glorification of those things it has become valuable.
Right.
So, I dealt with a lot of hate, and it was hate from people that I love. And I had been really left deserted, abandoned several times. And people felt like it was over for me. And they actually did things too. They threw dirt on me. And honestly, that hate fueled me. I couldn't let people see me down.
Right.
I couldn't let people I couldn't let them feel like they won. I just couldn't do it. It's like, bro, you gonna lay down? You gonna let them win, bro? Like, no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I can't let them win. I just could not do it. And that was one of the biggest things. And I tell my clients now, I don't care what fuels you. It can, a lot of cats want some girls, man. A lot of cats, hey, they do all this stuff just so they can get some girls. But guess what? If you do it, you gain enough influence, you get valuable enough. Hey, who cares what your purpose was? Money is gonna roll in.
Yeah.
Like so even if you did it for the girls, as long as you achieve the goal, the money's gonna roll in. So me personally, I don't care what motivates you. Just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. Like, for real.
I always lived, I'm 60, you know what I mean? And, a long time ago,
You've done a lot. You've done a lot.
I've done a lot. But I also, I made a lot of mistakes. I left a lot of money on the table. But I realized that in the main scheme of things, if at first you get the power, and power meaning that you have the ability and capability to get things done and motivate others to help you with your dream as if it's their own, the money is going to come. Get the power first. In the industry, 10 years is an overnight success. People are working, grinding. Actors and actresses are waiting tables, hosting, bussing tables, working as production assistants in order to be on set, learn the business, and make the connections. This brother was in the clubs, started from an early age as a creator, went on and says, if I book my own shows, I can open for the big artists. Okay, now I got some haters, which means I'm doing something right. Let me take my face off of that and still book the shows. He tripled his money and he learned something. He says, having the power to make things happen brings you the money and the influence and the respect. Having the power, and all of that, anyway, we teach a lesson. So look, we talked about coming from we said from the streets to the suites. Look, an amazing, not only did he get his first Billboard plaque, he kicked it off with Tokyo Jet's first benchmark, I would say. First benchmark in the industry that's documented, identifiable. This was Woodrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes,
now
sir.
You got Big Boogie.
Yes.
Number 17 on the Billboard charts.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about the journey from there to then.
Man. Oh, man. I mean, where do I start? It was after the Tokyo Jets record. To keep it simple, I felt like I got abandoned again.
Right.
She got signed, but I wasn't a part of the deal.
Right.
And I have no hard feelings about that. That was what it was. It happened. And it was back to the drawing board for me. And I had this big record. People knew that I could create music, but as I said, you do it one time, they call it luck. So I knew I had to do it again. So I got some records with Moneybag Yo that was moving. I got a few records with Money Man, those were moving. And it just kept pushing. Got some work in with Block Boy JB. Those records were moving. And when I say moving, these were, these records actually doing numbers. But, Mike, as I said, average, I knew I had to be greater than average, always.
Right.
I got a call middle of the night, usually the most influential and valuable calls happen in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. And got a call around 3 a.m. So like that. My OG in Memphis, who also worked with Money Man, he was like, "Man, I got this young dude, man. He raw, man. Like, oh my God, like he all energy. He's a ball of energy, man. Like he can sing, dance, rap, man. He can do it all. Like, man, like this guy, man. I'm telling you, I'm ready to bet the house on him." I'm like, okay, that's what's up. Like, let me hear it, And he was talking about Big Boogie. And I listened to his music and did my research, and I saw just rawness, just like all the club music. It was just bangers. I had, and his voice, his cadence was like, I had never heard that. It mirrored DMX. I had never heard like it, but he had a few different soulful tones, like Ja Rule type. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm like, this kid has some potential. So I'm listening to all this music, but it was all like club music. It was all street music. So my first time working with him, I played some emotional records, some melodic type records. And he had never done any of that music. And the first thing he said, like, "Man, Brian, that ain't what I do." You know? I'm saying? I want a pipe. I want this shit. I want it turned. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get in my feelings and all that. And Leon, my OG, who is his manager, was his manager at the time. He stayed on him about it. He was like, "Man, this hard. I mean, I think just see what you can do with it. Just see what you can do with it." And man, he didn't record it that day, but later it was sent to me. And oh my God, when they sent it to me, like I knew he had something. And I played the record at Grand Hustle actually, and it was a few other people in the office, and I'm listening to it. I'm getting chills like while I'm listening to it. I'm like, this is really one on one. But you let the consumer, you let the fans tell you what's a hit.
Right.
I can love a record, but that's because I relate to that record. You don't know that the world is going to relate to a record. Right. You just know that, hey, the record really resonates with me. I know.
When we have good conversations, man, sometimes, karma gets in the way and technical difficulties get in the way.
That's exactly. That means it's going to be great. That's exactly what that means.
So we back once again with my man Woodrow.
Yes, sir.
Look, independent, getting first count on his money. Feel me? The umbrella.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
GOAT mode production.
I think we were talking about Big Boogie. That record.
Definition of big dude.
Yeah. Well, definition of big dude. We went number 17 on the Billboard. That's actually, is that the third project I did with Big Boogie? Yeah, that's the third project.
Oh, wow.
So on our first project, the record I was mentioning was Mental Healing.
Okay.
And I knew I loved the record. I didn't know it would be a hit. One of my friends told me in the office when I played that record, "Bro, that's going to be your plat." Like he told me that. He said it. And I was like, I love the record, but I didn't know the world would love the record. And at the time, this was like right before COVID. So mental healing. The world had a heightened sense of mental health awareness at the time. It's like the timing was perfect. We had a lot of drug user music at the time, and a lot of party music at the time. So this song was in its own lane, and it came as real healing. It came as it was what the game needed at the time. And man, we started after that. Shout out Wicked Films. He dropped that record, and man, I mean, started booking. Like he was already booking, but the booking picked up. And a lot of people, everybody wants the A&B markets. Everybody wants the Onyxes and the Lives in Miami, or the Blue Flames, or some of the biggest clubs you can think of. Everybody wants those clubs. But people spend money in the C&D market as well.
Right.
And the thing about the C&D markets, the Kansases, or the Mississippis, the Alabamas, the backwoods Tennessee, the Arkansas, you know what I'm saying? Like, those places where a lot of people or influencers or celebrities tend to not go to on a regular, those people, that market appreciates that. That market, when you come to those markets actually hold on to those memories. Those markets become lifelong fans. And that's what people don't understand. So when, of course, our goal is the A&B market, but, I'm about to kill this chilling circuit. You know what I'm saying? I came from that. Long live Muddy Waters, long live Highland Wolf, like for real, long live BB King. I come from that chitlin circuit, baby. I understand these hole in the wall clubs.
Yeah.
And man, every hole in the wall club you can think of, man, we were booking them up. And this is during COVID. So, at the time, the club Lives and the A&B market, those clubs were closed.
Yep.
You had to go to the sketchy clubs and the hole in the walls.
Yeah.
So we maximized and we capitalized off of that moment. And I mean, Boogie was booked up sometimes twice in one night. I mean, every weekend for sure, but sometimes literally twice in one night. He'll have a car show in the day, have a night party and an after party to go to. Like, so he just kept going. And of course, we already had the relationship with CMG and Yo Gotti. And Gotti is a boss of bosses. Everybody that you see signed to CMG is a boss themselves.
Right.
Yo Gotti Moneybagg Yo has his own record label, has his own management team, has his own security, has his own producers, has his own artists. You know what I'm saying? 42 Dugg has his own label. ESTG has his own label. Big Boogie has his own. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the thing about it is, right, that's basically the blueprint for CMG. You got to be self-sufficient out here before, they come take you under their wing. They got to see you doing this, okay, you know what he's doing, and it fits that mold.
Right.
And Gotti leads by example. He says that a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I find myself doing that a lot. You play whatever position you got to play for the team to win. Sometimes I'm vigilant, and sometimes I'm surveilling. I'm security at the time.
Right.
I have to watch what's going on, even though we have security. But hey, we need some extra eyes out here today. We got to get this bag. We got to get home. We secure the package, baby.
Hey.
So
hey,
I think that's a military thing, bro.
Feel me? And
so
be ready to act with extreme VOA. If you
Right, you did.
if you don't know what VOA is, we're not going to tell you. Go look at
Right. That's
it.
an inside thing, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, and everyone around understands that. And, having a team like that, everyone on one accord, moving in the right direction, it was only right. It was a no-brainer for Yo Gotti and CMG to come in and go ahead and, ink that and sign, and shout out Big Jook, because Big Jook was very paramount in making that happen. He a very big fan of Big Boogie, and he definitely pioneered that agreement to make that work. So once he signed, man, I'm talking about we were in every hole in the wall club, people rapping, mental healing, word for word. Once he signed the deal, now we're in arenas and stadiums, and they're rapping it word for word, So, man, it was literally, that song right now has 88 million views on YouTube. That song had been released prior, I think, right before 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a little over 3 years old. This song gets more millions every month, more millions of views every month.
Wow.
So that has shown me two things. Great music is timeless.
Yep.
And another thing QCP pointed out for me, Quality Control's Pierre Thomas, he pointed out that the art of discovery. And he mentioned the art of discovery when he was talking about the City Girls and how their song Act Up, they had dropped that song on the album the year prior. And the song didn't blow up till the next year when they did the Act Up Challenge. And everyone discovered the song.
Right.
So when you got great music, and okay, let's say you go to Arkansas and you get a great response from the crowd. Okay, let's take it to Alabama. Let's see what kind of response we're going to get from that. Oh, we got a great response. Okay, let's take it to Kansas. Oh, we got a great response. Let's take it to Iowa. Oh, we got a great response. After that, it's the art of discovery. When you got great music, put the machine behind it. Put the gas in it. Because if you got a great response here, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a great response in the next place as well. But you have to have that machine to push it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Good music will market itself. But
indeed,
you got to have ears and eyes on the art.
Right.
You know what I mean? So speaking of that, congratulations, man. Like I said, on everything. Look here, y'all. The Revolt Summit is coming up
Indeed.
the 22nd to the 24th. And one of the artists that Woodrow has worked with long and heavy, Moneybagg Yo, is one of the headliners. So y'all check it out.
Yes, sir.
September 22nd through 24th. I'm going to try and be there, bro. But my son is getting married on the 19th. So
wow.
Congratulations,
man. Congratulations, you and the fam, man.
Oh, thank you. He been with this woman for a minute. Matter of fact, he been with her. I'm really proud of him. My wife and I have been together for 20 years. And so he said, yeah, life tried that BS, but we have triumph. You feel me?
Hey, man.
So
God is great,
I
man. My God is greater than all that. Yes, sir.
All that. And then, you know what? One of the big things that's been rocking and steadily growing for the last 7 or 8 years, of course, is DJ Holiday's Hollapalooza. And you've been a big part of that. And you guys have recently partnered with the Source magazine.
Yes, sir.
Of course, one of the iconic names in the hip hop culture. DJ Holiday is an iconic DJ. You know what I mean? And Hollapalooza is slowly but surely rolling up.
Yes, sir.
Loud. I didn't mean it. I ain't putting no dirt or no shade nowhere. But Hollapalooza. But you know what? When you have a deeper and closer connection with the community,
right,
it makes a difference, and that's how you become immortal. making forever music, making memories, helping people make memories that they can readily connect to, recall. And, you know, Hollapalooza is definitely growing, and all the growth that things that come with growth are happening. But, you know, it's not like some of the other major festivals that are rolling 20 or 30 artists through to make the buck, but they're not meeting their audience and their festival goers where they are.
Right.
Hollapalooza is that's the differentiating factor from my observation on the outside looking in of how Hollapalooza is making a difference. Talk to me about your experience with that. How did the partnership come with Source and all that good stuff? Much respect for the move.
Gotcha. So the first Hollapalooza was epic. And it kind of took a life of its own after that. But of course, we had to do the groundwork. But the first Hollapalooza was here in Atlanta. We had the Migos, Bobby Smurda, his first show in Atlanta. We had Dirk, Ray Shrimmer, Long Live Young Dolph. I mean, yo, like, need I say more? Like, that's
a blast off right there.
This is 2014. So, I mean, to kick off like that was a great launch. And, you know, we actually didn't know what we had at the time. You know, it was just, you know, it was an idea. And after doing it, we all had our own different business arrangements going. All of us had our own operations. You know, shout out DJ Holiday, who is DJ Holiday. I mean, you know, honestly, when you think of major DJs, I'm being honest, only two come to mind for me. That's DJ Drama and DJ Holiday. Can't really think of many in that.
In that stratosphere, I feel you.
I can't, you know, I'm trying to think of, I can't think of many in that era. So, you know, Holiday is Holiday. And of course, he's always on the road and, man, different appearances. And of course, holding the clubs down. And, you know, that's what I tell him now. Like, he is an anomaly from the cassette days to the CD days to streaming era. He's still out here with the artists, with the fans. A lot of these guys from his era, man, they sitting in their offices in the AC, looking at them dusty plaques from the cassette and CD days. Like, for real, for real.
I should have learned.
I'm just being real, you know. But this guy is a living legend. He's a real dinosaur, a walking dinosaur on this earth right now. And man, you know, for him to use his light and his platform, you know, to shine that on others, you know what I'm saying? It just shows the integrity and the type of man and morale that he has, you know. And, you know, DJ Holiday and our other business partner, his manager, KD is the pioneer and creator of Beer and Tacos. And the Beer and Tacos movement, of course, it's one of the biggest. Coach K mentioned that on one of his interviews as well, about how Beer and Tacos, of course, launched Amigos, was very paramount in, you know, getting their notoriety to where it is right now. So KD, I mean, one of the movers and shakers in Atlanta. He's over the commission DJs with Ferrari Simmons, DJ Ray G, and several others. So, you know, with him having that background, you know, it was really a plug and play for me to come in, because, you know, all of that correlates with what I have going on, from the music to the events, you know, and networking with the artists and marketing for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
So we all got together and man, we made it a thing. You know, it was like, okay, you got your show going on over here, you got your show going on over here, you got your show going on over here. What are we going to do together?
Right.
And every year we would do it at least once a year. So South by Southwest was really paramount in that because that gave us a location and a goal. They gave us a target. It was like, okay, if we're not doing it any other time of the year, we're going to at least do it South by Southwest. And man, I mean, every year we have one of the biggest. This year, for South by Southwest, we had almost the whole cast of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Wow.
So Erica Banks, Amy Luciani, Chaotic 305, Lil Scrappy, Erica Mena, all of them were on our stage and in the building. And it actually aired on MTV Love and Hip Hop around the second episode or something like that, like a month ago. Yeah. So, you know, this is recent, you know. Shout out to Brad.
Right.
We were on the official event list for the BET Awards. So, you know, we also did Miami this year, which we do Miami every year. This is our third, fourth year doing it in Miami, doing Rolling Loud weekend. And last year, QCP brought Gloss up. He brought Gloss up, and that was her first major show. He brought her there personally.
Isn't Gloss up from the Glorilla camp?
Yes, she's from Memphis. Yep.
Anasia and what Shibuya. Roll call.
Yeah. K
Yeah,
Carver.
okay.
Yep, the whole gang. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So he brought her through, and that was her first major show. And he had a talk with us that night, and he was like, "Man, I love what y'all doing." He was like, "You know, when you got Rolling Loud, and you got Coachella, you got all these festivals, they hoard all the major acts,
Right.
like all the major acts,
right?
But all of these artists, like we said, like Moneybagg Yo, may be on Rolling Loud. Glorilla may be on Rolling Loud. But hey, maybe Gloss Up is not on Rolling Loud. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But Gloss Up deserves that light as well.
Right.
So we created that platform for that. You see what I'm saying? So last year, for South by Southwest, we had Beat King, Club Godzilla. We had The Money, Tip Son, Trader Truth, Rob 49, Lil Migo. You see, like, you know what I'm saying? Years before that, had Meg Thee Stallion.
Right.
You know, it's just like all of these names, you know, it goes back to my Onyx days, man. You know, it's having a vision. It's seeing it before it actually happens, you know? And, you know, a lot of that is just being true to the creator in you know, not falling for the fads and not falling for the trends, you know, actually, you know, doing your due diligence, you know, and doing your research and listening to this artist and actually seeing what they can bring to the table, because, you know, it gets to a point where everyone sounds the same, everyone looks the same. It's just a blur, and you're like, oh, yeah, who's gonna stand out?
Yeah.
And man, we consistently find them. And it's a beautiful thing. Meg Thee Stallion paid to get on our stage.
Whoa.
Several people have paid to get on these stages. And that's the thing. Like, this is not an open mic. I don't even have a name for it, to be honest, because we're actually in our own lane. These names that I just named, being on Love and Hip Hop like this summer on MTV,
Right.
like it's like, I mean, I don't know any open mics or showcases, you know what I'm saying, that are doing so. We have really developed something brand new, something unheard of, and the fact that we can give the average Joe the opportunity to be on stage with, the gloss ups and the Trinidad Jameses and I'll be like I said, the Meg the Stallions, and the list goes on. Like the Big Boogies, the Duke Deuce, like you know, uh, to actually be able to do that, like I mean, it's a great thing, man. It's a great feeling. It all comes back. I mean, it all goes back to my artist days, man. A lot of what I provide now are the tools and resources I wish I had as an artist.
Boom.
And that's really what it is.
And you moved and navigated through the maze to collect that toolkit.
Right.
And you know how to employ it as an artist, as
Right.
an event producer, as
Right.
an A&R, pulling the pieces together onto the chessboard and making the move,
Right.
to a businessman who can evaluate and see the positive outcomes of situations that just need a little extra oomph. And
Right.
you're putting yourself in position. I mean, Hollapalooza, big time. Moneybag Yo, long time collaborator here.
Yes.
Now he's rocking headlining Revolt Summit.
Yes.
The Umbrella Firm,
Yes,
the
sir.
Goat Mode Productions, having the deals and the insight and the respect. That's power. From power
Yeah.
comes the money.
I just
So,
want and I wanted to say shout out Goat Mode Productions. My lead producer Flo Beats has had several #1 blues records. He
okay.
has found his lane in blues. He has been on several Big Boogie records, but
Okay.
he's found his lane in blues and he's taken off in that. Shout out my other producer Mello. He's also done some work with Big Boogie and has more on the way. Of course, as I said, my big homie Stroud with Hustle Gang. Man, we got so much work that I landed the NBA YoungBoy placement with him, and that's a beautiful thing because he's the one who brought me in the game. So to nail that with him, that's monumental. So man, hey man, just working, bro, just working.
Man, I appreciate the time. Saul, Orion, thank you so much for sharing Daddy with us.
You hear?
Appreciate you. What up, though? Saul Orion Woods. Damn, I just gave out his whole gov. But you know what? He got a soldier. He got a soldier for a father.
They better get ready for it.
You know what
That
I'm
name
saying?
will be known. Yes, sir.
It's going down. Greatness. And looking dead at the camera. He's not shy. That's power right there. Early on. We're going to keep teaching this young lion exactly what it takes to be a great man. He's got a great father, great example. On the personal tip,
brother.
My friend, brother, I mean, we have lived up to the word friendship. We have lived up to the word battle buddy. You know what I mean? And every time I've come in your vicinity, and I'm too old to check in. But when you have a real friend who actually cares about you,
yes, sir,
you fucking check in.
You definitely do.
Simple as that. Because they're not going to leave. This is a real friend. They're not going to leave you homeless, roofless, no place to sleep, no place to eat. They're not going to do it. When you have something in their city, if they have the ability to come and support, they're going to do that. Even if you don't ask them. Right. And they're going to bring somebody else. You know what I mean? They open up the doors for you. This is my opportunity all these years later to say thank you to this man to man. I love you.
I love you, brother.
I appreciate you. I wish you nothing but continued success. I know you got a partnership with the Source, and I'm down with that, but you got family over here at the
Indeed.
Hype Magazine.
Hype Magazine, my family for life, baby.
All right, everybody. The Hype Magazine live sessions. Woodrow, go check out the umbrella firm. Go check out Gold Mode Productions. See what they've got going on. Support. Why don't we just go ahead and give them the socials and the website real quick, and then we'll bounce.
Got you. Hey, man, you know, you can find me on Instagram at Woodrow1K. That's just like Woodrow Wilson. You know, that's WOODROW, number 1, letter K. You know, you can find me there. You know, Instagram. I mean, yeah, also the Instagram we have at The Umbrella Firm, spelled exactly as it said, THE Umbrella Firm LLC. And at Goat Mode Productions. So, you know, you can, it's pretty simple. You know, we have all our contact information in the bio. So, you know, if you're interested in doing any type of business, hey, feel free to reach out. And, you know, if you are inquiring about any type of media or any type of blogs or so on and so forth, trust me, you will be referred to The Hype Magazine. So you are in the right place. Better believe that.
I appreciate you. That's love. All right, everybody. The Hype Magazine live sessions. Woodrow, Saul, the Umbrella Firm, 24th in Atlanta. And then stay tuned for more Hollapalooza. I will be at South by Southwest in attendance next year, 2024. So check me out.
I'm gonna see if I can bring another one of them black bottles out, brother.
Feel me?
We're gonna have a great time.
Hey, they sent me one of them blue bottles. I've been sitting on that hole for like 3 years. I'm like,
yes, sir.
I don't even drink like that, but I just want to hold one in my hand just to have fun with it. All right. Until next time, everybody. I really appreciate everybody. Stay tuned and peace, love, and soul, according to the great late Cornelius.
Yes, sir. Don Cornelius is great. Cornelius. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Many blessings. Shout out The Hype Magazine. My big homie, Jerry Doby, my battle. Shout out Jay. Love y'all, man. Many blessings, man. Let's get it. Thank you.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
Because I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
Because I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now. I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out the Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.